Atlanta United showed signs of life in their 1-0 win over Monterey on Wednesday night. But can they overcome and beat a struggling Philadelphia Union side? We preview it for you next.
What's going on, 5-Star fam? I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become a member of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube or hop over from Facebook and subscribe. You can now also find all our content on the Genico USA platform anywhere in the world on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, iOS, Google Play, and many other streaming platforms. A positive result and a better performance on Wednesday means that we have something to build on for this very important clash against Philadelphia Union on Sunday, and that's at the Benz. It's St. Patrick's Day, and it's that 7 p.m. game. Yeah, indeed, he's ready for this for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where, yeah, Philadelphia Union, we have historically played them pretty well, 3-1-0. So, I mean, you know, not too bad in terms of that form. And yeah, against them, though, it will be very vital how we play, because I think, you know, coming from these past fixtures, it hasn't been the best, but now we've seen a little bit of progress. So, you know, it's baby steps forward.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone will very much remember last year's clash where you had that double red card incident in the first half that had
quite hilarious.
Alejandro Bedoya and Harris Medunjanin, I think. Yeah, came close enough. Both getting sent off just in an absolute moment of madness. Ended up being a 3-1 win for Atlanta United. You know, they've given up goals. Well, they being Philadelphia have given up 3 goals in both of their trips to the bin so far. So things have gone well for Atlanta in this fixture. And last year had that sumptuous goal in the 2-0 victory up in Philadelphia with the whole team play and Tito sliding it in. Speaking of a player who hopefully will feature, there's some really key questions going into this one because they're going to be missing 2 of their best guys. Both Marco Fabian, he picked up a suspension for a straight red card against Sporting KC
He's their
last
playmaker.
week. He's their playmaker.
New guy.
In their number 10, these guys are important because they're switching their identity and how they play into kind of a diamond, like a 4-4-2 diamond in midfield. And they're also going to be missing Sergio Santos, who was their summer signing from, well, he's Brazilian, but he was playing in Chile. He is out with a strained hip flexor, so they're going to be down 2 key guys in the attacking department. My biggest problem is, though, they play 4-man midfield. Atlanta play 3-4-3. That means that those 2 guys, whoever it is, could possibly be very outnumbered in the middle of the park.
Exactly, and so that's very much, I think, the key question in how we're going to set up to counteract this. Because, yeah, it's not a formation that we have seen yet, and with us already being pretty outnumbered in midfield, I think you have to kind of at least plan for this and set up, you know, not just the formation, but the tactics in a way to counteract this. Because if we get run off the park in the middle, I mean, this is the most important part of the pitch. And
2 of their best players are going to be in the middle of the park, Medunjanin and Bedoya. So it's like those
and you're probably
guys,
not going to see them get sent off again.
Yeah, you're not going to get a double red. Although if it happened, it would be hilarious.
It would be.
I mean, it's one of those interesting things where it's like logic and common sense tells you this team is down 2 of their best players, and their number 10 is going to be missing, so they're going to have a backup in that role. Why not change a little bit tactically? Be a little bit more flexible, because if you change, they're not going to be prepared for any change, and they're already down, like I said, 2 of their better players, so they're going to be unprepared for that. I think you could really take advantage of Philadelphia if you just tweak a thing here or there. Maybe play a Barco in a number 10 role. Maybe do something where it changes things up. That could really help you and build off that performance on Wednesday, because it was a positive performance against Monterey. And I think it would be silly to kind of go back on some of the things that changed. You know, they were more attacking. When they upped the tempo, things did get better. Against the best team they're going to play all year, top to bottom, regardless. Monterey is better than anyone else that Atlanta United will face in MLS. So, you know, I think this Philadelphia team, they've lost their first 2 games, 3-1 at home to Toronto and 2-0 away to Sporting KC, although that's something to shake anything at because going away to Sporting Kansas City is tough, but they're there for the taking. Yeah,
both were very tough games for them, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough if they lose 3 in a row, but that's our job to actually beat them, and I think we have the goods to be able to, especially at home. Yeah, I mean, we kind of generally have very good form at home, and I don't think they're going to necessarily sit, but I mean, they probably might have to in this case because they are down those 2 very important attacking players. And so,
yeah. But I mean, for them, something they've struggled with so far this season is they've struggled against defending skilled players, and they've given away fouls in bad areas around the box. And Atlanta United has the capability to make them pay for that, depending on who's on the field. You know, they have very talented free kick takers. We haven't seen one buried yet, but Barco can hit them, Kratz can hit them, PT can hit them. I mean, people can hit these free kicks, and when you're playing guys like Miles Robinson or Florentine Pogba or an LGP, these guys are dangerous in the air as well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
if
they park the bus and give away silly fouls, they could easily find themselves behind. And again, it's another case of that first goal means so much, because if Philadelphia can absorb and can be compact and can defend well, they're not too bad on free kicks and set plays themselves. So if Atlanta aren't careful and give up something silly, then they could find themselves in a very difficult situation.
Right, but yeah, because they do play that four-man midfield diamond, they are a little bit susceptible on the wings, and so defending those wings is not really their strong suit. So with our guys like a Gressel or an Ambrose or whomever is playing right wing back, and that as well, that means that we can run at them, and pretty much we will spread them out a little thinner than they're used to, and yeah, that bodes well for us. So yeah, we need to play with some width, because I think they can be had there, and then, you know, any sort of cutback or, you know, finding Joseph Martinez on the near post or anything like that. That's probably the smart strategy if I were a betting man.
Absolutely. I mean, I think this definitely plays into how Atlanta United have been playing wide in their positioning. If they can execute, and I think it's why you need to see an Ambrose again, because Brek Shea will not offer the overlap or the speed or the pace that he needs to help stretch their defense and pull them farther apart, so that you can create space for those guys in the middle, for Joseph Martinez, because otherwise he's going to be absolutely marked to death by everyone around him. You have to be able to create those spaces. So hopefully, you know, again, this is something that Atlanta United can build upon. I think that you'll definitely see LGP come back into the side, and if they continue doing, you know, having the center backs push forward and making runs down the sides into the channels and really creating those triangles, that would help a guy like an LGP, and that suits his game. So hopefully that could also create some difficulty for Philadelphia.
Right, but before we get into what we predict what the lineup is going to be, let's get into the injury report. And Franco Escobar is still probably unavailable. It seems like, yeah, I mean, he's still getting back into training, and in terms of him getting any match fitness, it's not quite there yet. So he wasn't available against Monterrey, but he might be available maybe for the Philadelphia Union match on Sunday, but it's a matter of, you know, he might just have to make the 18 first, and then maybe, you know, break it in with maybe 10-15 minutes, and maybe that could be the best way, because yeah, the way that Florentine Pogba was broken in as well, that's probably a good tactic for them. But in terms of the injury and suspension report for Philadelphia Union, it's those two guys like we mentioned. It's Fabian, it's Santos. Those guys are either injured or they are suspended.
It was a nasty red card as well.
Yeah.
He straight up stepped on my dude's chest in that Sporting KC game. It went to VAR, straight red card. He was actually already on a yellow nonetheless, so might not be too bad. Yeah. He seems to be a bit of a kicking type player, a little hot-headed. So, but he is their number 10, and he was their top summer signing, and Santos was their number 2 guy right behind him. So they will be missing their attacking threat, but I think it would be a bit silly for Atlanta United to look past them, because they were a dangerous team last season, and they can be canny, they can be smart. They have a Bedoya, he can make something happen. So still have to be very smart, and that goes into kind of how we line up.
Indeed. So in terms of, I have no bones about, Frank de Boer is going to play a 3-4-3. It's just what it is.
Although we looked so good in the 4-2-3-1 when we switched to that in the second half against
Monterrey. We looked very dangerous. It was 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whichever way you know, you want to call it.
As much as I love the 4-3-3 and I've banged on about it, I think we touched about it briefly,
during the fan cams.
Yeah, we touched on it briefly in the fan cams. I think that Joseph Martinez benefits greatly from playing with someone in that number 10 role.
Absolutely.
Someone who plays close to him and is able to play quick 1-2s in and around the 18-yard box, not far away when he's having to drop really deep to get the ball.
That's how his goal happened.
That's how his goal happened. And I think, again, that's what this system can create with pass and move and pass and move. So I'd like to see someone play a little bit closer to him, give him a kind of a strike partner, and I think that could really bring out the best in him, and I think that could unlock Philadelphia's defense.
Agreed. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, rotation-wise, rotation-wise, it's been difficult in terms of, Frank de Boer has been persisting with pretty much the same 11 or just really, you know, changing a couple of players. But Barco did drop back a lot more, had to pick up the ball from deeper, and I think that allowed him to dictate the game a little bit more, and with that, he was a little bit more, you know, kind of behind Joseph and pretty close to him for most of the match. There was this one moment where he was about to, you know, give him a through ball, and it was like Barco playing with some verticality. Oh my God!
He looked really good on the turn and driving through midfield.
Yeah.
If he could, you know, when he dropped deep to pick up the ball and he would pull those midfielders out of position, he routinely would just turn and go right by them and then drive into space.
Right.
The problem against Monterrey was they were sitting so deep. There was usually 2 banks of 3 or 4 people right in front of him.
He would drive right
Martinez, and he didn't. It's not really his fault, but he had no options.
Yeah.
And so I think in terms of him and Joseph Martinez, you know, you're not going to find many defenses that are that organized in MLS or that talented. And for them, maybe they just have to play a little bit more together in terms of in those roles, and they might be able to build up a bit of a chemistry.
Right.
So,
yeah,
you know, that's one of those things hopefully we can see.
Yeah, and also I think with Philadelphia Union having lost 2 games in a row, they're looking to score. They have to get on the board, and so I think that leaves it right open and perfect for us to be able to be incisive, and if we're clinical, we can really finish off this this match, you know, pretty easily, pretty quickly, because they're going to look to score. And so I think for me, getting into those predicted players in that starting 11, it will be Guzan, of course, again. I think, yeah, maybe he rests Parkey because he has played a bunch of matches. So I think LGP comes in, and I think Robinson persists as well.
He's got to stay. He's undroppable in my
opinion. Right now,
he's playing some of the best football of any person on this team.
Right now, he's unplayable, and he is a player that, is young as well. So he, you know, if any of the 11 stays, it's going to be Robinson. And I think Pogba showed a decent amount in terms of that. I would start him on that left center back position. Yeah, I mean, it's a good match for him to get some legs under him, I think. But and then with that midfield or wing back first, Gressel, I think, comes back in again. I think he gets to really dictate play. Because, you know, with the wing play, it's going to be so important on Gressel, I think. And I think Nagbe and Remedi again in the midfield. Yeah, I mean, it could be Lorenowitz coming in for a Remedi. Who knows? I mean, you know, having someone sit in that midfield is also really important. So I'd be okay with either one at this point too. But Ambrose is that left wing back for me.
I think he should be first choice from here on out until George Bello can challenge him. But if George Bello can't get to the level he's at, which I think he can, but I think that he needs to be that first choice left wing back because when he was on the left, he was so much more comfortable. He offered so much more going down the wing in terms of overlapping occasionally. Yes, his ball delivery isn't great at times, but neither is Breck Shea's. But he has the ability and the work rate and the pace to be able to get back and defend as well.
And he was pretty resolute when he
defended well. He won some headers as well, which Breck Shea struggles with, even despite his height sometimes. So I'd say Mikey Ambrose definitely should get that.
Are you saying Whiteman can jump?
Hey, I can dunk a basketball, so I can't say that.
But and I think it's Tito and Barco as the wingers, but I think Barco, like I said before, is going to drop in a little bit behind, and so that way there's a little bit more link-up play, and then that kind of opens it up for Ambrose if he wants to bomb up and down. And then, Joseph up top. I think he's in a good run of scoring for him, and you just don't take out a striker when he's you know, scored 2 in a row. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you have to play him. So I think it's kind of, you know, set up for Joseph to be able to get 3 games in a row where he scores.
What's funny is that Joseph is frustrated, and he's clearly frustrated, but he's got 4 goals in 6 games.
Yeah.
I mean, as silly as that sounds, he had 2 against Herediano. He's got the one against Monterrey, great goal, and the one against Cincinnati, great goal. I mean, so hopefully you continue that run. I feel pretty confident about that as well. Getting into my 11, it's pretty much the exact same as yours. The only thing is who he plays on the right, because I'm not overly comfortable with LGP playing on the right, despite the recent revelation that he's actually right-footed. I don't know why. I think everyone thinks he's left-footed, but he's right-footed. Who knew? Not me. But yeah, he's played on the right most recently, I want to say, against Minnesota, and that didn't end so well last year.
Yeah,
so...
he got red carded off, and so...
But we still won, so
yes.
I guess that counts. But, I mean, I think Pogba, he's definitely a player that can play on the left, and if he's not comfortable playing LGP on the right, then I think you could still see a Parkhurst or possibly even a Lorenowitz there as well, because he's a little bit more fresh than Parkhurst is.
Right.
Midfield, agree with you again there, and I agree with you on the wing backs, and I even agree with you as far as the forwards. I just think that PT needs some rest, and I think he could be a player that, if you need something at the end of the game, he'd be good to bring off the bench, but he looked absolutely knackered against Monterrey.
He did. And I think, though, you know, him coming off the bench is a good role for him to maybe run at tired legs and really be able to impose himself later on in a match and gain some confidence. Even though, yeah, I mean, last match, it wasn't a bad performance. He had a shot on goal that was, ridiculous from distance, as we know he can.
According to Philadelphia's match preview, he's a black belt ninja wizard, whatever that means. But take that as you will.
Yeah, very interesting. But anyway, so let's get into the Bet365 odds for this match. And yeah, Philadelphia Union have a 16.67% chance to win. To draw, this is a 26.32%. And Atlanta United to win, it is a 63.64% or a 4-7 chance. And so, yeah, we have an overwhelming
pretty odds-on favorites. But then
here,
again, they were last weekend as well against Cincinnati and couldn't deliver the goods. But again, building off of that positive performance from Wednesday, we saw signs of attack. I saw what he was trying to do at times. Hopefully they continue to build this up, continue forward, and really get going. And hopefully he can turn things around and get the locker room behind him and the fans behind him, and we can really start picking up those points and getting wins now that we're focused on MLS, because we are out of CCL. Getting to that though, AJ, how are you feeling about this game? What do you think the result's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, to your point about CCL, like, I would have preferred that we stayed in CCL. I know there are some people that...
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that have, mentioned that, I didn't really care about this competition anyway. It's distracting us from what really matters. But I think when you're in it's the biggest trophy that you can win. That's what you try to win every single time. And whether it's our first year or not, I think we had the pieces to be able to win, and you're not guaranteed to always make Champions League.
This is true. But
that's
Monterrey
why you have to
were
go
the better
for it.
side, though. I think
They
that's the
were.
one thing. They were the better side.
But it could have been closer.
It could have been better. It's that last 10 minutes down in Mexico. That's what really cost you in this tie.
And we'll get to that on
it's
the 5 Star
frustrating,
Weekly.
but yeah, we'll get to that on 5 Star Weekly. But, again... You can't cry out. If you're a big club like Atlanta, you go after every trophy you can get.
Exactly.
But we're out. Now that we're out, we can't look back anymore. We look forward, we move on, and we try to get 3 points this weekend. Do we do it?
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, I think it's a 2-0 win, because it's going to be very difficult for Philadelphia Union to muster up something unless they find a way to find something off of a set piece. But other than that, I think we're going to shut them out. So, yeah, and I think Joseph's going to score again, because when he scores in bunches. So, yeah, 2-0 win for me.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go for 3-0. I was really impressed for what I saw on Wednesday night. I think if we can replicate anything similar to that performance against this Philadelphia team, I think we can blow them away, because they're not as good as that Monterrey side. And that's no disrespect to Philadelphia. That's just saying Monterrey is one of the richest and best teams on this continent. And Atlanta played well, and they defended deep, and they still created some chances here and there, and still got a very good goal. And I think that if we can keep that pace up, turn that screw, move through the gears, and really start going at Philadelphia, missing their best 2 players, I think that Atlanta can get a 3-0 result, get some points on the board, go into the international break feeling good, and really start getting things going, coming back out of that, and hopefully get this season heading in the right direction. Yeah.
But guys, that's our match preview. Let us know your predicted lineup and your score prediction in the comments below. But that's it. So remember to subscribe, remember to share, and remember to like this video. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thanks so much for watching.